As a kid, I was excited to have my own PlayStation 1. I didn't care that the PS2 was out and popping despite having already played games like the first Dragon Ball Budokai, WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and Grand Theft Auto 3. I definitely lived up to the mantra of beggars can't be choosers, because when I got my PS1 handed down to me, I could have cared less that it belonged to somebody else, because at the end of the day, it was mine. Now, the first games I had for my PS1 were Rayman, Swagman, or Swagman. It's been 20 years and I still could not tell you how to pronounce that name. Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX, Cool Wars 3, NASCAR Racing, and Parasite Eve, which the opening scenes gave me nightmares. Now, I had a blast with these games, but not long after getting the PS1, my dad took me to a KB Toys, remember those, where I got Rayman 2, GTA 2, Covert Ops Nuclear Dawn, WCW Nitro, which is an awful game, and most importantly, the star of the show, Spider-Man. When I got the game, I was just happy with the novelty of getting to be Spider-Man, but in playing it, I was met with a game with a lot of charm. The first cutscene we're immediately thrust into the plot, where we see Doc Ock, Sans Tentacles, and an imposter Spider-Man, Eddie Brock, who turns into Venom, and this guy. I wonder who he could be. The following scene, we get narration from Stan Lee and speak to Black Cat. Like, that's hella cameos, just even in the start. Now, throughout the game, you'll see other heroes, and even some references to characters like Hulk, Wolverine, and even Tony Hawk. This game was developed by Neversoft, who made the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, and Spider-Man happens to be an unlockable character in Pro Skater 2. Now, cameos and references aren't everything, so how was the gameplay? I'd say good for a PlayStation 3D game, but average. Luckily, the game doesn't have a wonky camera like a lot of the games in this era, and in case you didn't know, this era was the block hand era. When I was growing up, the greatest achievement in gaming was not 3D graphics, it was not HD visuals, it was characters having actual fingers. And I don't mean the baby fingers we would see in the sequel to this game, Enter Electro. Unlike other superhero games that would be released around this time, Spider-Man released for the PS1 on September 1st, 2000, and on these other systems was listed on the screen, on these dates. It's not based on a movie or even the popular animated series, which came out in 1994. It's also not even based on any comic storyline the web slumber has encountered. And considering how wild Marvel got with the symbiotes in the 90s, it's a surprise we never got this story in comic form. This game was self-aware and even makes its technical limitations a part of the story. For the levels that take place on rooftops, you'll see a yellow fog where the streets of New York should be. Spoiler, with symbiotes being heavily involved in the story, the fog acts as pheromones to bond with people easier and cause a symbiote infestation. You're basically trying to prevent Spider-Man Web of Shadows from happening in this game. The combination of charm, variety of gameplay, and the story make this game an 8 out of 10 for me. The game has some replay value where the completion of the game unlocks different costumes with different characteristics and abilities. On top of that, there is also a what if mode that can be unlocked in the cheat section. While some costumes give you unlimited webbing, invincibility, and invisibility against non-bosses, which of course makes the game easier, there are others like the Amazing Bagman and Peter Parker costumes, which take several of your web slots away and provides a challenge. If you put in the cheat code GBHSRSPM, you unlock What If mode, which makes playing the story mode a really weird experience. We get a monologue from the Y2 the Watcher, Spider-Man having a seizure, J. Jonah Jameson jumping out of a building, we get some lizard coops, and Disco Doc Ock. Now, for a game that you can beat in a few hours, there's plenty to do, and I always like playing with the cheat codes and playing with different costumes to, see how far I can get. In terms of 3D Spider-Man games, which at this point have been many, Spider-Man 2000 still ranks high for me, even in comparison to games like Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man for the PS4, which both are not only good games, but also represent an advancement in terms of gameplay and physics. But let me know what your favorite Spider-Man game is, and if you'd like to see this made into a series. I'm for sure going to be dropping more of these short and sweet game reviews, but I've already got a Spider-Man PS4 review locked and loaded, so why not make it a series? There are a few Spider-Man games that I've, would like to revisit, and some that I've just never played before, like the main console versions of Spider-Man Web of Shadows and Spider-Man Edge of Tomorrow. So just let me know, and be sure to pass the sticks.
Pause.
Out. Deuces.